Hello and welcome to this tips and techniques video from Master Your Photography. In this series we've carefully crafted a collection of short videos designed to provide you with key points on specific topics without any of the unnecessary waffle. Our goal is to give you practical information that you can immediately apply to your own photography. We understand that your time is precious, so we've condensed each video to deliver concise, actionable information. With our tips and techniques series, you'll gain the knowledge and the confidence to improve your photography in no time at all. So, that's probably enough waffle, let's get started. In this video, I want to talk to you about a lighting technique that can really help to separate your subject from the background. And in doing so, it will create real depth within your images. And it's a technique called backlighting. You see, normally when we take a photo, we have our main light source pointing directly at our subject. It might be from the front, it might be from the side, it might be at 45 degrees, depending on what we're trying to do. But in general, it's pointing in roughly the same direction as the camera towards the subject. With backlighting, then our main light source is behind the subject and it's pointing back towards the camera. It doesn't have to be directly behind the subject, but in general it's pointing back towards the camera. If the light source is directly behind your subject and pointing back towards your camera, then you will get this wonderful rim light effect where you get a thin line of light all the way around your subject, which lifts it from the background and creates something that looks almost 3D. Now, if your subject is translucent in any way, then the backlighting will shine through your subject and make it glow, which works really well for some subjects. And of course, backlighting also works for portraits. If you can get a lovely backlighting effect around someone's hair, as in this shot here, then again it lifts the subject from the background and creates this real sense of depth. There's a very important consideration when it comes to backlighting, and that is your exposure. You see, if your camera is on automatic and you point it at a subject which has a very strong light source behind it, then there's a good chance that you will end up with a silhouette of your subject rather than a well exposed shot with some backlighting. So what you have to do is take a spot meter reading from the front of your subject so that you're actually creating the correct exposure for your subject rather than for the background. Other ways to manage the exposure are, if you are using automatic, then you can use your exposure compensation settings. So turn the exposure up so that you're exposing for your subject and not the backlighting. And the other thing you can do is, rather than trying to get the correct exposure with just the backlighting as your main light source, you can actually introduce a secondary light source for your subject. So you can have another light, that might be a flash gun on your camera, or it might be a separate light altogether that is shining on the front of your subject. If you haven't got another light, then you can use a reflector and literally bounce some of the backlighting onto the front of your subject to illuminate it correctly. If you're working outdoors rather than in a controlled situation like a studio, then a great time to look for backlit subjects is either at sunrise or at sunset, because the sun will be very low in the sky and is more likely to be behind your subject rather than above it. Also, if we're talking about seasons, then winter is actually a better season to find backlit situations, again because the sun tends to be lower in the sky. Backlighting is very effective for a wide range of subjects, but one particular area is food photography, where if you use it in a very subtle way, it can add some real sparkle and make a dish look much more appetizing. Under normal shooting conditions, photographers try to avoid having any kind of light shining straight into the camera lens, because this can create something called flare, which is seen as a fault. But if it's used creatively, and it can be, then it can create some real atmosphere. So don't be afraid to experiment and actually have the sun or whatever light source you're using in the frame of your shot when you take the photo. So if backlighting is a technique that is new to you and you've not experimented with it before, then next time you're out and about with your camera, try to position yourself so that you've got the light behind your subject rather than in front of it. Send me your photos, I'd love to see what you're doing. If you found these tips useful, then please comment below, and if you'd like more tips like this, then please hit the subscribe button, and then you'll be kept informed when we release new videos. Thank you for tuning in to Master Your Photography's Tips and Techniques series. We hope you found this video useful and practical. Remember, each photo you take is a stepping stone towards becoming a better photographer. So get out there and capture the world in your own unique way. Until next time, happy shooting.